Can we hear Darrelle Revis? How about Darrelle Revis? Because you played corner in the league, Rod.
Oh, yeah.
You played corner at Texas. You're a lifetime Longhorn. And I know, having talked to you, Deion Sanders was your inspiration for playing corner, right? You wanted to be Deion.
I wore 21.
I wore 21.
I wanted to wear number 2 for Deion in college, but it wasn't to be.
Well, can we hear Darrelle Revis as he was enshrined into the Pro Football Hall of Fame saying thank you to Prime Time and his inspiration? Here's Darrelle Revis, Revis Island into Canton.
I didn't get the chance to play with this guy named Deion Sanders, but he was a prototype for me. What Jordan is to Kobe is Prime to Revis Island. You came first, and I wanted to play just like you. You were the roadmap to greatness. Thank you for paving the way.
All right, Rod, you have similar thoughts. Where do you rank Darrelle Revis? I mean, if Prime is the Prime, then he's the peak at the position. Where do you put Revis Island on that position you played?
He's got to be pretty high because Deion Sanders himself, I believe he tweeted this out. I saw it this weekend. You know, Deion has complained that the Hall of Fame is too crowded.
Yes.
He's like, they're letting too many people in. So basically, he's telling
Hall of Very Good.
Yeah. He's like, there needs to now. He believes there needs to be, I think he calls it the upper room.
Yes.
A separate room where the the most rarefied of athletes, that they are the enshrined in an upper room, as he calls it. And he says that Darrelle Revis deserves to be in the upper room.
Yeah, his tweet, love him, respect him, and he's a HOFer that's seated in the upper room.
Yeah, he calls it the upper room. Yeah, so you know what? I agree. If Primetime says that you deserve to be in the same realm as him, then, hey, man, then you're blessed. You're knighted then, essentially, in the DB community.
Yeah, Revis Island also played the salary game better than anybody.
Yes, he did.
Did a great job navigating the cap. And,
short-term deals, re-up quick. Yep, you're right.
Let's also hear from DeMarcus Ware. He is into the Hall of Fame, 9 years with the Cowboys, but had to leave to go to the Broncos to win a Super Bowl, unfortunately, for DeMarcus. But a great player, one of those early picks of Bill Parcells when he was rebuilding the Cowboys. And, man, what a player. Here is DeMarcus Ware, some of his thoughts on teammates that inspired him when he got to Dallas to become a Hall of Fame player.
Every day I arrived at work, I can hear the ring of fire blasting in the training room, which meant Tony Romo was in the building. In the weight room, I'd hear the clanking of Larry Allen, bench pressing 500 pounds just to warm up. On the field, lining up against Jason Witten, I was reminded just how important it was to be consistent every day, every play. And when I had to turn up, all I had to do was look at my boy Brady James, because he truly had the eye of the tiger.
There's Brady James sitting in the seats there. Brady James, the LSU linebacker who was there when he got there. So thanking some of the guys that helped him get where he is. But that was a great player. Where do you rank that DeMarcus Ware, Von Miller pass rush combo when they pretty much carried Peyton Manning to another Super Bowl win in Denver?
They did, yeah. That was game managing Peyton Manning. That wasn't even elite Peyton Manning. Wasn't Brock Osweiler?
I think he was a backup there.
Yeah, Brock Osweiler was the backup, right? He was the one that got some playing time that season. That pass rush is one of the better, because you had Von Miller in his prime. So that is probably one of the better pass rushes that's been able to lead a team, like you said, to a Super Bowl. There are two ways to win a Super Bowl, in my opinion. At least there are exceptions to the rule, but at least you document the most recent Super Bowl success stories. There are two main ways to do it: elite quarterback play, elite pass rush. If you got elite of those two things, that could potentially be good enough for you to make it to a Super Bowl. And that's why people are hounding the Cowboys this year, because the Cowboys, they led the NFL in pressure rate this last season. They were third in pressure rate 2 years ago. They were third in sacks this past season. So this is a team that knows how to get to the quarterback. And with Micah Parsons right now, he is primed and ready to have a peak. I say breakout season. He already had a breakout season, but primed to have his best season ever.
Turnovers is they've led the league in back-to-back years, and the Cowboys want to be even better at that because they want to cover a little better. Remember last year when they had the injuries at the corner opposite Trevon Diggs, teams just went to the right side, right? Let's take advantage of that spot. And they can run the football, power run, and the Cowboys feel like they've helped to fix that with the drafting of Mozzie Smith and Haskins being back up front, Leighton Vander Esch back to stuff the run, to put teams in more pass rushing, downs, and then they can cover a little bit better on the back end. And as you've said in your Rod's rant last hour, they've re-signed Malik Hooker, they re-signed Donovan Wilson, Jaron Kearse is back. I mean, they are ready to go on the defensive side. Here we go. Here's a list of the greatest pass rushing duos of all time. Number 1 on this list from this website, Rod, Clyde Simmons, Reggie White featuring Jerome Brown in the middle. That was pretty good with the Philadelphia Eagles back in the day.
I believe the time that Reggie White was with the Eagles, he actually had more sacks than games played with the Eagles. Yes. That's how dominant he was.
And then he became that big free agent from Fish to Green Bay. Number 2 on this list, Richard Dent and Dan Hampton. From the Chicago Bears, 1985, the 85 Bears. Dent. We should also mention that lifetime Longhorn legend and Pro Football Hall of Famer Steve Mongo McMichael.
Steve Bam Bam McMichael?
Battling for his life right now in a
so
hospital.
It is
dealing with ALS, and we root for him for sure.
One of the members of that great 46 defense for the Bears. The Bears.
How about this one? Neil Smith, Derek Thomas.
Man, people forget how good Derek Thomas was.
The late great Derek Thomas.
Past going too early, they forget how good he was. Man, he was on his way to breaking the all-time sack record.
He was.
I believe he was he had that kind of trajectory.
Those guys were unbelievable. Led the NFL in sacks in 1993. Ricky Jackson, Pat Swilling of the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, they were in that 3-4, had those 4 linebackers. All those guys were awesome. But, yeah, those guys came off the edge. They were legit. I remember them.
Leonard Marshall and LT when they were with the New York Giants and Bill Parcells.
Just because of LT alone, you probably could put that number 1. I don't know how they ended up number 5.
Yeah, this list was yardbarker.com.
Oh, no.
Number 6, Dwight Freeney and Robert Mathis.
Okay, you know what? Shut that list off. They got Lawrence Taylor behind Dwight Freeney and Robert Mathis. I know statistically you could say, well, they got it.
The only ones, Lawrence Taylor is only behind the Ricky Jackson, Pat Swilling, Neil Smith, Derek Thomas, Richard Dent, Dan Hampton. I'm going
you're going backwards. I got you.
Because number 6 on the list is Freeney and Mathis. That is followed by Von Miller and DeMarcus Ware.
Okay.
Denver Broncos.
Well, still, LT might be a little too low.
Yeah.
I mean, it's LT.
Bruce Smith and Cornelius Bennett on this list as well. Justin Tuck and O.C. Umenyiora with Michael Strahan and Jason Pierre-Paul.
That was a nice group. They had a nice little NASCAR package.
And this is what people like about the Cowboys is Micah Parsons says he wants to be the best ever. He was asked about it over the weekend in the Hall of Fame. He wants to be a Cowboy who goes in the Hall of Fame as the best that has ever played. He's in year 3 now. DeMarcus Lawrence can still get after the quarterback. They've got other dudes that can rush the quarterback, including the aforementioned DeMarvion Overshown, who is showing some pass rushing skills in Cowboys camp out in Oxnard, California.